Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to be doing an updated brow tutorial for you. I've been trying to film this for the longest time. I've filmed it about, I think, 5 times. Ridiculous, I know. Anyway, it's finally going up, and before we get into the tutorial, I just have a couple things that I want to talk about. The reason why I'm doing this, I know I have a previous one, but I have recently changed the way that I shape my brows. Prior to me making this video in the past couple weeks, I honestly didn't know what about my brows needed to be changed, because I liked my brows a couple months ago, but whenever I would take a picture or see myself on video, or mostly in pictures and stuff, I would notice that they both were different. And you never really can get them to be exactly the same, and I mean, it's really hard to do that. But they were like really different, or something was just off about them, and I didn't know what it was until I really studied some brows and looked at the type of brow that I like. And I figured out that before, even in my last video, my eyebrows were really far apart. They're still not as close together as I would like them to be, but they're definitely much better. And second thing is that I don't want you guys to think that I think that my brows are the best brows ever and they're so great, because they're really not, and it takes time, and I mean, they've come a long way. I'm really happy with how they are, but on their own, without being filled in and stuff, they're not I was not blessed with really thick, dark, beautiful brows. So I work with what I got, and I'm currently still growing them out, and it's a process, but they're coming along nicely. So another thing I wanted to mention was that I do not get my eyebrows threaded. I do not get them waxed. I did all of those things in the past, and now I completely do them myself. Once I figured out what shape that I find works best on me, I said that to myself that I would never go to anybody else again, because literally every time I've gone, something wasn't right when they did it, or they took too much off, and now I just tweeze them every day. If you are going to do them yourself, the key in doing that is to just tweeze them every single day, or every other day, or whenever you see a hair, you just gotta tweeze it. Otherwise, you'll wake up in a week or 2 weeks or however long it takes, and you'll be like, what the heck? A tip that I can give for those of you who have absolutely no idea how to shape your eyebrows, or what shape that you want, or how to change the shape of your brows that they are currently, find a set of brows that you absolutely love. Make sure you get a picture, and basically just study it. Stare at it and for as long as you have to, for you to understand what about that brow that you like. Compare it to your own brows. Have a picture of yourself, or look in the mirror and look at the brows. So without further ado, here is my brow routine. So before we start, the products that I use is by Anastasia, the Clear Brow Gel, Brow Wiz, Brow Powder Duo, both in dark brown, and the No. 7 angled brush. So the first thing that I do is I take the Brow Wiz and the spoolie on the end and brush out my hairs. So with a light hand, I'm going to start shaping the brow. I am starting at the bottom and more towards the beginning part of the brow, but not exactly the beginning, if you could say. I don't touch the starting point of the brow. I'm just going to take that back, and I'm really going to work slowly. And as you can see, I'm filling in the area where my hairs are not fully grown in. That's exactly where I want them to grow in, to make it more of a straight brow. So then I'm going to work on the tail. My hairs also aren't fully grown there, but that's where I'm aiming for it to go. In my previous video, I really focused on a high arch, and here I'm just kind of focusing on making it kind of straight and then filling in my arch and tail to where I want the hairs to grow. To me, this shape really works well with my face and just frames my eyes and everything nicely. So then I'm just going to continue to fill in the brow, and I'm going to really focus more on the bottom and the middle and very light-handedly shape out the top, because we want to leave more focus on the bottom portion of it. And then I just take the spoolie and blend out any of the lines and spread the product out. And you can obviously stop it at this point if you like the way it turns out on yourself. You don't need to add more if you feel comfortable with it being really natural looking. And this can work on a normal day if I'm just running errands or, you know, not really trying to make them look as best as they could. But I take it a couple steps further and I like to deepen it up. And throughout this process, I'm always constantly checking the other brow to make sure it's even. So I'll have to even go back and forth between them and just fix them up. And you know, without making this video, I would normally do the brows both at the same time, like each step, because I just like to make it look as symmetrical as I possibly can. But for the sake of the timing in this video, I just wanted to do one brow. So you see me touching up the other one to make sure it's somewhat even. So next I'm going to take the angled brush and the powder duo, and I'm going to take the darker color. And I'm just going to go over exactly what I filled in with the brow wiz. Starting at the bottom, I'm just going to deepen it up, and I'm going to start it not exactly at the beginning of the brow like I did before. So we just do strokes and bring it upwards to blend it out. Using the powder on top of the brow wiz is also good because it kind of sets it. You know how you would, as with a concealer, you would use a setting powder after just to make sure it stays in place. This also really helps the brow stay on throughout the day. So again, I'm just checking both brows, making sure they're both even. So now we're going to take it to the starting part of the brow. I don't take any added product on the angled brush. I kind of just, whatever's left on the brush, I use that. So it's not really harsh. So I'm just blending it and then kind of bring it upwards and towards the middle of the brow. And then I'm just going to take more product and add that in the middle of the brow. So then we're going to take the lighter shade and we are going to work this up. We're going to start on the bottom and kind of just wiggle it up to just blend in, and so that line isn't too harsh. We're not going to drag it all the way up, but we're just going to lightly pull it up a little bit. Also, I don't know if you could see, but at the beginning part of the brow, there's some little sparse hairs that are really not too connected with the brow, but I'm trying to grow the brows out closer to the nose so they are closer together. So I'm just going to take more of the dark shade and I'm going to go throughout the brow. I'm going to take the brush and wiggle it back and forth, so don't be afraid to go against the hairs. It will just fill in the brow better. Then I'll just take the light shade again and then gently go over the top so it has a little bit of shape. So since I didn't do the brows both at the same time, I just got to double check and make sure they're symmetrical. And as you can see, if you tilt your head, you'll see on the bottom of the brows where they're both the same thickness, and you can see that side's thinner than this side. So what you have to do is either fill in the other side on the bottom a little more, or take a Q-tip and kind of take away from the other side. Then you tilt your head down, and you can see the arch on the left side a little higher than the one on the right side. So that's the way you can check for your arch. You just put your head down. So I'm just going to take a Q-tip and kind of take a little bit away from that side. So So then I'm taking a look at the tails. So that tail on the right side is a little closer to the eye than the one on the left side. So from a distance, or for those who aren't too familiar with brows, it may not seem like a big deal or you might not notice it, but for me, I'm a little OCD and I just like to perfect them. So then I'm just going to take the spoolie and brush it throughout the brow to distribute the product evenly. And almost done. Next thing I do is add a little bit of concealer right underneath the brow. I really like to do this because it brightens and lifts your eyes, and it's a really good base for a highlighter, and it's good for if you have any sparse hairs that you just want to conceal. So it also helps define the eyebrow. So like you would for any liquid concealer, we're just going to set that with some powder. And then after that, I take my highlighter, my favorite one by MAC, Soft and Gentle, and I just go over what I did. I focus it more on the end of the brow. And lastly, I'm taking my clear brow gel, and I'm just going to put it throughout the brow to set all the hairs in place. I really love this product, and I don't even have coarse hair, so I really recommend it for people with thick eyebrows. So that is it. That is my brow tutorial. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions at all, please comment below or message me, anything you want. I will try to answer them as best as I can. Please subscribe to my channel for any more videos and just to connect with me. And if you want to follow me on other social networks like Instagram or Twitter, it is just my name, Charlotte Faraci. So love you guys. Bye.
I always go for confidence, your compliments look good on me.